Today I'm being joined by Dan with Keycode Media. Hey, Dan.
Hey Jim, how are you today? I'm Daniel Dauphin. I'm a senior solutions architect with KeyCode on the live broadcast side, which means I deal with everything from glass to glass. So everything in front of it, lighting, sound, switcher, and then all the way into post and all the way to deliverables. And KeyCode, we're a full systems integrator. We'll sell lighting, sound, cameras, switcher, any post server that you can think of. And we're also leaders of technology and keeping up with it, including NDI, SMPTE 2110, and all those new standards.
So
Yep.
I'm sure through a lot of these productions and needs that you're running into, you're starting to see some of these trend into an NDI world, aren't you?
I can't go at least 1 week without some new project coming along that doesn't involve NDI.
What are some of the more interesting applications that you've seen pop up over these couple of weeks?
So we're seeing things like NDI Bridge, which just came online with new tech. That's intriguing a lot more people, especially since like people like me.
Yep.
I moved out from California to Texas not too long ago, mostly so that I could prosper with my family. But I do a lot of new tech NDI demos. Our TC2 is located in Burbank while I'm in Texas controlling it. And so this is getting a lot of shows and their gears turning on. My TD doesn't necessarily have to be in the same building, in the same state.
Dan, what are some of the challenges that your customers have run into that you're able to offer your experience and advice to help overcome?
So definitely the first one off the bat is network bandwidth. Whether that is from your ISP or just locally. A lot of people, we do now a bandwidth calculation load based on how many NDI sources are we moving and how many are we moving across, say, from A to B, and then from A to C and A to D. You'll have your camera inputs, you'll have your switcher outputs, and then you'll have to your post, like when we work with like an SNS system or an NRSD that takes NDI natively into a post environment.
Sure.
And we have to calculate all of that bandwidth load. And so now what used to be, oh, can I get away with a 1 gig switch? No, you'll have to at least start with a 10 gig, and that's
Right.
to start. Oh yeah, we're currently working with I can't say their name, but we are working with a college right now.
Okay.
And we blew their mind with NDI and its capabilities. And now they're like, wait a second. So I can sit here in my control room and have all my cameras come from this building, that building, and this building. I'm like, yeah. And so we started engaging with their IT guys immediately and said, are you going to be okay with this? And how are we going to go, especially since college campuses, governments, and even high schools, they usually have strict IT protocols in place.
Sure.
I mean, for good reason.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, that's one of the things that we see in the education market too, is how quickly a production system can build from a classroom or a multimedia lab to an auditorium, to a stadium, to multiple campuses, and then everything else in between. And as you start seeing this snowball turn into an avalanche, the experience becomes even more necessary for someone who could raise their hand and say, hey, I've been here, I've done this, I've seen this before, and we can help navigate that path, get what you need spec'd out today, but also create a system that can grow. What are some of the considerations that you tell your customers to put emphasis on when they are trying to plan for today and well into the future?
So yeah, I usually try and do a 5-year expansion model. For NDI implementations, I always go with what is the biggest switch that I can put in there? Is it a 10 gig backbone? Can I put a 100 gig backbone in there now? So therefore you have that expansion and that availability to you, especially as we, do some of these hybrid models where it's not all necessarily NDI. Some of it can be SDI, but SDI has its limitations. But as we find video routers and all this switchers. You now have the Panasonic Kairos, and you have the NewTek TC2, and that are these kind of hybrid type of systems that you need that network infrastructure, and bandwidth is the biggest proponent of that, whether you want to do 1080 now and then 4K later.
How does NDI play into the preparation of post-production?
So right now, I know that there's like an Avid plugin for NDI. We've had a couple of people utilize that. Even with the Adobe Premiere NDI plugin, going a little bit away from the post, but at least you have all these tools that you can use. And then NDI Studio Monitor. Just like every editor has a QC monitor somewhere, not necessarily just like the $200 monitor that you can find at Best Buy. You want something of, well, how's this going to look on the client side or on the end user side? I use Test Pattern a whole lot, because that gives me a great base that while I'm talking to either my guys back in Burbank or a client anywhere else, and I know I have a baseline, hey, here's what your color spectrum is going to look like. Here's what sound's going to, sound like coming over this system. NewTek has their bridge, and BirdDog has in the cloud. I love the matrix of BirdDog in the cloud, and just, I need this to go here, I need that to go there, and now I can start to utilize all these, awesome tools, even from NewTek, that come about.
NDI being open source and the fact that the technology is available for people to use, whatever application you have or whatever you're looking for, there's a really good chance that there already is an NDI tool developed to give you that capability. You referred to the BirdDog Cloud, and I remember first seeing the first demo of that and just being completely blown away on the power and capability that it lets you log into from anywhere.
So there's like a 9-minute video out there on the internet, and I look a whole lot different because I had a whole lot more hair up here and here, of when like the Live Call Connect feature came out for the TC2. And at the time, Microsoft had just implemented NDI for broadcast within even Teams. And now we're seeing like Zoom, and you need the Zoom room capability in order to have that NDI capability. But you see these more gallery-centric meeting platforms starting to utilize NDI so that they can have better broadcasts that are brought in. We have another client that's in Los Angeles, a huge financial firm, and they do a lot of these types of meetings, not necessarily all on Microsoft Teams or even on Zoom. And so that NDI capability of bringing it in and out so that they can have a better production for just their meetings is what we're starting to see a lot of.
Absolutely, and it's actually a motto that has popped up over and over again throughout these shows. If 2020 was the year that we had to do the production, 21 and 22, we have to do it better. And we're seeing a lot of people really take that advice to heart and reach out and say, what do I need to do next? And this is why calling a company like KeyCode Media could be extremely beneficial. So Dan, before I let you go, tell me again, who are we talking to today? Who are the customers that can really benefit from reaching out to KeyCode and working with you guys to help get this conversation started?
We're KeyCode Media. We're a full systems integrator, whether that is a high school just wanting to start out their broadcast, a house of worship that's wanting to either enhance or build upon whatever they have right now, all the way to broadcast centers like Cowboy Stadium. We're able to provide insight and how-to knowledge and train you on how to use it, when to use it, and here's the best tools that we've come across that we can tell you about.
Do you work with real football teams like the New York Giants also?
I don't know.
Thank you so much for joining us today. The information is right here up on the screen. If you're interested in getting into this remote production workflow or even a local production workflow for everywhere from the school to a house of worship, government agencies, sports broadcasting, give KeyCode Media a call. They have the experience in this field and can definitely help you out. Dan, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.